Hey guys, it's Winter Soldier, and I'm bringing you the optimal path you want to take for your Marksmanship artifact weapon, Thostarel. Now, the way this was tested is the guys over at the Hunter Discord, they took these three traits, which are all very good. They tested which one increases your damage overall the most, and then they chose the path that has the least amount of useless talents. And what I mean by useless talents is there's three on this bow. The first one is Survival of the Fittest, which makes the damage you take be reduced by 3% every time you disengage, right? But we shouldn't be taking damage as hunters, because we're a mobile class. So if you're taking damage, you need to just get better. You can't rely on this talent. We got Healing Shell, which makes our Aspect of the Turtle heal 12% of our health over its duration, right? But what did we talk about in the other video? You don't want Aspect of the Turtle up for very long, so why would you choose this talent to heal yourself? It's not our job to heal ourselves. If you die, it's the healer's fault, clearly, for the same reason we talked about here. If you die, it's not on you, it's clearly on the healer, right? And the third one is Gust of Wind, which reduces the cooldown of Bursting Shot by 5%. And nobody uses Bursting Shot in raids because it sucks and it's for PvP. But unfortunately, we're going to end up having to take this one. But I'll show you why. So here's the optimal path. The first trait we want to go to is Bullseye, which is when the enemy you're damaging's health is below 20%, you gain 3% critical strike chance for 6 seconds, stacking up to 30 times. And that is essentially gives us our own execute phase after 20%. And when it says you gain 3% critical for 6 seconds, stacking up to 30 times, that means every attack you hit, which as of the moment of this filming, stacks with Barrage. So Barrage will give you, I think, 10 to 15 stacks of this almost instantly, so you can start to see why this is pretty good, right? 3% for up to 30 times. That's 90% critical strike by the time the boss is dying. So this is a really good talent. So we're going to head here first, and I'll show you the path. Second, we're going to head to Legacy of the Windrunners, which is Aim Shot has a chance to create 6 extra wind arrows that shoot your target, right? Passive abilities. What did we talk about with hunters? We love passive abilities because hunters are morons and more buttons would be way too much to do. And the third one is Call of the Hunter, which is when you mark shot, Thostarel has a chance to call forth a barrage of wind arrows to strike all vulnerable targets. Again, another passive ability, fantastic, right? It's essentially just a second mark shot on top of your mark shot. So, here is the optimal path you want to take. First, you want to take wind arrows. Do you know why? I'll give you a hint. It's because you don't have another fucking choice. Next, you want to go to Called Shot, which increases multi-shot damage by 3%, but if you've been paying attention, you would be choosing Sidewinders because you can shoot snakes out of your bow, and so it's going to increase the damage of Sidewinders instead. So you have to put 3 points into this for a total of 10% extra damage to Sidewinders. So this ability makes our snakes 10 times more effective. Not 10 times, 10% more effective. Then we're going to take Mark of the Windrunner, which is when you use Wind Burst, which is the ability that your artifact gives you. It also applies vulnerability to the target. So that's going to give our 10-second vulnerability window, or our 12-second vulnerability window is now going to be 18 seconds, which means we can fit in more aim shots, right? Not going to go this way, because we don't need to heal ourselves. That's the healer's job. So we're going to go up to Deadly Aim, which increases your critical strike damage dealt by aim shot by 5%, right? We're going to put 3 in that. Now our aim shot damage is increased by 10%. Aim shot's a pretty good move. So here's where we come to our first useless talent, right? I mean, if you're into PvP, I guess this is okay, but the only other thing Bursting Shot is good for is really pissing off your tanks. So, I mean, if they're giving you a problem, just be like, hey, you know what? Bursting Shot, or better what? Barrage, right? Pull the whole instance, and then when the whole instance gets to the tanks and everybody's finally got a hold of things and everything's in a nice group, be like, guess what, dickbag? Bursting Shot, and send those ads everywhere. Okay? So we got to put 3 into that, unfortunately. Next, we're going to take Rapid Killing, which True Shot also increases your critical strike by 50% for its duration, which makes True Shot a very, very powerful cooldown because our critical strikes will do more damage. Put 1 into that. Then we're going Marked for Death. Marked shots increase your aim shot critical strike chance against the target by 2% for 10 seconds. Okay, so every time you use Mark Shot, your aim shot criticals are going to do more damage. And if you watch my Marksmanship video, you use Mark Shot to do more aim shots. So obviously this is going to buff your damage, and when you put it fully in, that's 6%, right? So that 18-second window we've got now, you're doing 6% extra damage. And then we finally get to our first trait, which is the execute phase we were talking about. So this is your first path. This comes with the bow. You go this way, this way, this way, up, to the right, here, and here. You can skip rapid killing. You see this path is the option here, but you want to take rapid killing because this is a really, really powerful cooldown, and the 800 artifact power you have to spend on it would take you maybe one quest to complete. Okay, so you've gotten to this first trait, right? We've got 16 points. Next, you come back to this useless skill, and we're going to go 3 points into Windrunner's Guidance, which increases damage done by Markshot by 3%. If you can't figure out why that's a good talent, you should probably just turn off the video and play something else, like, I don't know, Beastmaster. So then you move to Legacy of the Windrunners, which is our next trait, which is Aim Shot has a chance to, well, I went over this already, but it's a passive, more burst damage. Your aim shots have a chance to summon arrows that'll fly into the target. Click there. Alright, so let's pause the video here for a second. We're at 20 points. This is where you want to be for the first raid, the Emerald Nightmare, when that comes out on September 20th. You want to be at 20 points, ideally. This is very obtainable. This is considered to be average, right? So if you're a raider, this is what you want to look like when you go into the first raid. Okay? You want to shoot for 18 to 20. You really want to get this second. This second one is going to make a huge difference. So this is, from what I've seen on beta, this is easily obtainable, right? So if you're at less than 18 to 20, you might want to try Beastmaster, right? The highest I've seen on beta is 22. So we're going to start on the third path, right? So this is what you look like going into the Emerald Nightmare, that first raid that comes out. As the weeks go on, you continue up this path next. So we go 3 into Precision here, which increases the critical strike chance of Markshot by 10%. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a 10% chance to critical strike. And then we grab this, which is our second Markshot, essentially. Boom. Okay? So, let's start at the beginning. You started here. You came up this path. You grabbed this trait. You backtracked to here. You came down, you grabbed this trait. You backtracked to here. You came up, you grabbed this trait. Now, as the expansion gets older and we're moving towards more and more traits, you head up this way. That's right. So you backtrack to Wind Arrows, then you go up and you put 3 points into Quick Shot, which reduces the cooldown of True Shot by 30%. That's our big cooldown, and that's a good cooldown usage. Then we're going to take Critical Focus, which our Sidewinders is going to generate additional focus, right? Because we don't have Arcane Shot. Now, we're deep in the expansion. You're looking at your tree. You're starting to finish up your points, and now you've just got your 2 useless talents left, right? I guess you could put points into your Healing Shell at this point. Again, if you die and you... Here's the good thing. If you die and you don't have this trait, you can be like, hey, look, man, I only got 1 heal. It's the healer's fault I died. But as soon as you start putting points into this Healing Shell, they're going to be like, well, you can heal yourself, so I don't see what the problem is. So only take this if you're really feeling responsible. If you don't feel like taking responsibility for yourself, definitely try to avoid this one. And the Disengage one, sure, it reduces your damage by a little bit, but what happens if you disengage out of range, right? I mean, we don't play Hunter because we want to be at the bottom of the DPS chart. If we did, we would have played Beastmaster. So what happens if you disengage out of range? Is it really worth saving your life? If you, like, at least if you don't disengage and you're at the bottom of the charts, you could be like, well, I died because I didn't have that damage mitigation. So again, if you're feeling like you don't really want to take on any raid responsibilities, then I wouldn't fill this one out either. The last thing we got to talk about here is your relics up top. The priority on relics is item level, especially for marksmanship hunters, because like we said, your weapon damage is your most important stat. And the way to increase your weapon damage is to increase the item level of this artifact, and the way to increase the item level of this artifact is through relics. So what you want to aim for first and foremost is the purple relics, which give you plus 46 item level. I realize this isn't going to be obtainable. It's going to be pretty hard, but the highest priority on your relics should be item level. Repeat after me at home. The highest priority on your artifacts should be item level. The bonus ranks they give in your stats don't particularly matter that much, right? Obviously, don't pick a relic that gives you extra gust of wind, because that talent's fucking useless. And don't pick something that gives you extra points in healing shell, because we went over that already. You don't want to be responsible. So, it's important that you increase your item level, which increases your weapon damage, and everything after that is just a bonus. There's no particular optimal one. I mean, I guess if you're really, really into min-maxing, you could check out the bonuses, like this one that I have selected here has increased critical chance of mark shot, which is pretty good. You know, it's not gonna put you ahead by that much, but that plus 46 item level will put you ahead by a lot. So you have 3 slots on your artifact weapon, and you want to fill these with as many plus 43 item level artifacts as you possibly can, right? So that's pretty much it for marksmanship, right? I'll go over the path again real quick. This comes standard. We go up this way into this one. We backtrack to the useless one. We go down. We backtrack to this. We go up. And then we fill in the rest. And then you decide whether or not you want to take responsibility for your actions. Then for our relics, we try as hard as we can to increase our item level. I realize before raids come out, you might not be able to get access to purple ones. That's okay. You can still get these from dungeons and stuff, which will increase by 35. But what I don't want to see on hunters out there is being like, well, I got this green artifact, but my damage sucks, and I don't know why, because I thought Windrunner's Guidance was a good trait. Well, first of all, if you're thinking that to yourself, go play Beastmaster. Second of all, go play Beastmaster, because we've gone over this. Item level matters, weapon damage matters, right? If you have to choose between, alright, let's say Windrunner's Guidance, that's a good trait, right? And increases the damage done by our mark shot, and you're thinking to yourself, well, mark shot does a ton of damage, but this green relic only increases the item level by 2, whereas this blue one here increases gust of wind. And you're like, well, Winter, we said gust of wind was a shitty talent. Good, you're paying attention. But this blue one also increases your item level by 35. So even though gust of wind is a crap talent, this gain in item level is way more important than the talents. Alright? So I hope this helps everybody out. Good luck in Legion on Tuesday. And I'll be bringing you some more content as we go. As I figure some cool stuff out about Hunter, I'll be bringing you videos for that. And if you like this video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I'm not telling you how to live your life and, you know, responsibilities and whatnot, but I hope you guys enjoyed.